Good day everyone, especially to our teacher Mr. Matsinaka. Good morning sir. My name is Regeline A. Plaza and now I'm going to discuss the continuation of ATA's report, which is the foundations of special and exclusive education. So here's my part. Issues. At-risk students or those with educational needs that are not associated with a disability are often placed in classes with students who have disabilities. Critics assert that placing at-risk students in the same classes as students with disabilities may inflate the educational progress of people with disabilities. The practice of inclusion or in mainstream classrooms has been criticized by advocates and some parents of children with special. Critics assert that it is not possible to deliver effectively two or more very different instructional methods in the same classroom. Another large issue is the lack of resources enabling individuals with special needs to receive an education in developing world. As a consequence, 98% of children with special needs in developing countries do not have access to education. Another issue would be budget cuts. Cuts can affect special education students who don't have access to proper equipment or education. The National Coalitions for Personal Shortages did a survey, and almost 100% of teachers said that they are not able to give the proper rights to children with disabilities. Teachers are getting cut off from work due to the budget cuts. Global issues. Children with disabilities are often denied the right to education. However, little is known about their school attendance patterns. By one estimate, 93 million children under age 14 or 5.1% of world's children were living with a moderate or severe disability in 2004. According to the World Health Survey, in 14 of 15 low and middle income countries, people of working age with disabilities were about one-third less likely to have completed primary school. For example, in Bangladesh, 30% of people with disabilities had completed primary school, compared with 48% of those with no disabilities. The corresponding shares were 43% and 57% in Zambia, 56% and 72% in Paraguay. National approaches. Africa, South Africa. White papers in 1995 and 2001 discuss special education in the country. Local schools are given some independent authority. Both modification and accommodations are recommended, depending on the student's individual needs. In Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Education constitutes a committee to develop exclusively the first broad-based national policy on special needs education in Nigeria. The constitution of the drafting committee with the mandate to formulate a national policy on special needs education gave birth to the National Situation Analysis Report. Asia, China. China holds the largest system of education in the world and features a state-run public school system under the order of Ministry of Education. Japan. Japanese students with special needs are placed in one of four different schools arrangements: special schools, special classroom with another school, and resource rooms which are called chokyu, or in regular classrooms. Special schools are reserved for students whose severe disabilities cannot be accommodated in the local school. Pakistan. After independence 1947, Pakistan had to face some serious challenges due to which no proper emphasis was given to special education and even education. Among other reasons, lack of resources, financial as well as human, was the major one in this context. Singapore. Special education is regulated centrally by the Singapore Ministry of Education. Both special schools and integration into mainstream schools are options for students with special educational needs. But most students with disabilities are placed in the special schools. Students with special education who wish accommodations and national exam must provide appropriate documentation to prove that they are disabled. Australia. Australian Associations of Special Education INC or EASA position is informed by the Disability Standards of Education 2005, which require the students with disabilities are treated on the same basis as other students in regards to enrollment and participation in education. In Europe, each country in Europe has its own special education support structures. 28 European countries are covered by the European Agency for Special Needs and Exclusive Education. Czech Republic. School must take students' special education needs into account when assessing their achievements. Students with disabilities are normally included in their neighborhood school, although may be placed in special schools. In Denmark, 99% of students with special learning difficulties like dyslexia are educated alongside students without any learning challenges. In Finland, schools adapt the national guidelines to the needs of individual students. Students with special educational needs are given an individualized plan. In France, French students with disabilities are normally included in their neighborhood school, although children may be placed in special schools if their personalized plan calls for it. Each student's personalized school plan describes teaching methods, psychological, medical, and paramedical services that the school will provide to the students. In Hungary, special education is regulated centrally. According to the 1993 Act on Public Education, students with special educational needs may be exempted from standardized tests for given modified tests. They have a right to extra time, a choice of formats for the test, or oral rather than written, and any equipment that they normally use during the school day. In Germany, most students with special needs in Germany attend the special schools that serves only children with special needs. These include special school for learning disabilities, school for cognitive development, school for emotional and social development, school for the blind, school for the visually impaired, school for the deaf, school for the hearing impaired, school for the children with physical disabilities, school for children with language disorders, school for the deaf blind, school for all children, school for children with severe and multiple disabilities. In Greek students with special needs may attend either mainstream schools or special schools. Students whose disabilities have been certified may be exempted from some standardized tests or given alternative tests. Accommodations and modifications are noted on the Certificate of Achievement. Republic of Ireland. The National Council for Special Education or NCSA supports students with physical and intellectual disabilities. The Netherlands. As a general rule, students with special educational needs are integrated into the regular mainstream school with appropriate support under the Going to School Together policy or where seminar school. Four types of disability-specific special schools exist. Norway. The National Support System of Special Needs Education and managed by the Norwegian Directorate for Education and Training. The general objective for STAPID is to give guidance and support to those in charge of the education in municipalities and country administration. Portugal. Students with disabilities have a guaranteed right to appropriate accommodation on assessments. Schools are generally considered autonomous. Slovenia. On national test, the National Examination Center normally grants most requests for accommodations that are supported by the local schools examinations committee. Legislation opposes the use of modifications that would be unfair to non-disabled students. In Spain, schools are required to provide services and resources to students with special educational needs so that they make progress and participate in school. If the local school is unable to provide appropriately for an individual student, then the students may be transferred to a special school. Sweden. Schools are expected to help students meet the goals that are set for them. There are special school or Swedish särskola for students with low abilities to attend normal education. In Switzerland, education is controlled by the 26 cantons, and so special education programs vary from place to place. However, integration is typically students are assessed according to their individual learning goals. In United Kingdom, in England and Wales, the acronym SEN stands for Special Educational Needs denotes the conditions of having special educational needs, the services which provide the support and the programs and staff which is implement the education. SEN-PPS refers to the Special Educational Needs Parent Partnership Service. SENAS is the Special Educational Needs Assessment Services, which is part of the local authority. SENCO refers to the Special Educational Needs Coordinator. In Turkey, at young age, students who have special needs in Turkey are provided special education from the Ministry of Education, who are responsible in giving them the education that they need. In order to get special education, you are required certain things: residency certificate, written application by the parents to school administration, personal development report of the child or if already registered, child's health report from the hospital. In Latin America, before 1978, little action was taken to educate children with disabilities in Colombia. Children would be left home without much interaction with the outside world. In 1985, special education was researched across the country and education programs were created. In Colombia, statistics from the Department of Administrative Nacional de Estadística state that there are 2,624,898 disabled people who reside in Colombia, presenting 6.3% of the country's population. According to 2010 research, 90% of disabled students in Colombia did not attend a mainstream school, and only 26% of them are able to attend a school at all. In North America, special education is commonly abbreviated as special ed, SPED, or SPED in its professional context. In Canada, education in Canada is the responsibility of the individual provinces and territories, such as rules vary somewhat from place to place. However, inclusion is the dominant model. In United States, all special needs students receive Individualized Education Program or IEP that outlines how the school will meet the students' individual needs. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act or IDEA requires that students with special needs. The educations offered by the school must be appropriate to the students' individual needs. In US government-run schools, the dominant model is inclusion. Next is the integrating technology in special education classroom. Autism. Autism or autism spectrum disorder or ASD refers to a range of conditions. It involves challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech and nonverbal communications, and also involve unique strengths and differences. It is known as a disability that impairs the social interactions and communication skills of a person. Many children with autism spectrum disorder or ESD find themselves comfortable with a device in their hands. Second is the Down syndrome. Author of Down syndrome, A Promising Future, together Terry Hassold, who got his PhD in human genetics, explains that students with Down syndrome have delays with cognitive ability. Their brains have late reaction when their neurological system sends a message for any task. Assistive technology is crucial in helping Down students with their writing ability. Down syndrome children tend to have shorter fingers and a lower thumb, making their ability to write more difficult, and some of the usual wrist bones are not formed. Special educations and sports. The benefits is special education students can benefit from sports in many ways. Types types of sports. Any sport can be altered. Some of the popular sports are swimming, wheelchair, wheelchair soccer, handball, gymnastics, and weightlifting. Organizations of programs. Many competitive organizations are available like Special Olympics is an annual, worldwide competition held for children with disabilities that want to participate in sports.